Yo, what's poppin'? It's Tommathan, and I am here to talk about one of the greatest off tanks of Overwatch 1's history, Overwatch League's history, with Void. He's either number one or number two, in my opinion. It's him or Troy Hoban. You pick whichever one you want to be your favorite, to be your GOAT. Doesn't matter. They're both right there in the conversation, and here is the ending of Void. He has announced his retirement a while ago, and I'm just getting around to this video now, but this guy has done a lot for the game as a whole, you could say, and how he adapted some playstyles. So anyway, 2018, Young Void comes into the LA Gladiators roster after Stage 2 on March 25th because Fissure and him are good pals. They have both been on Kong Du Panthera, and he's like, Deepe, we must pick up Void. He is the GOAT. Please. And Deepe's like, okay, Fissure, you are the guy. I will allow it. But here's the thing. He actually does not play very much with this team. In the first season. Because after he comes in, Bishu played 16 hours. After Void joined, Void only played 5.5 almost. And Void's stats probably give good reason for that. Looking across the board at his Diva, which is his most played at this and during this time, he's bottom 4 in elims per 10, bottom 2 in damage per 10, bottom 2 in final blows per 10. It's not great. He's not dying a lot. But I guess for Void standards, he is dying a lot because Void, historically, after that first season, did not die a lot. So for Void standards, he died a lot. But whatever. He wasn't quite working. Whatever it was, they went with Bishu instead. Bishu, season 1 was a pretty well-liked player. A lot of hype, not a lot of hype around Bishu, but he was like a well-respected player, you know? So it wasn't a huge deal, but it was like Void was supposed to step in. He was supposed to be that guy, he had the synergy with Fissure already, and it just never quite happened. So it's kind of a wash. Season 2, they keep him. Fissure's not there anymore, though. They have a guy named Roar. Not the best. This is also the season of GOATs, right? 2019. GOATs season. He's on the Diva all the time. 20 hours on Diva. He's on it, you know? And he has some pretty damn good stats to boot. Top 2 elims per 10. Top 4 final blows total. Bottom 2 deaths per 10. Like he is not dying. 2.9 deaths per 10. And he has the second best final blow to death ratio at 1.938. For every time he dies, he's getting 2 final blows, basically. That's insane value. That's pretty good value, especially in GOATs. But here's the thing, right? Roar's not very good. The Gladiators, not as good as, you know, they were supposed to be a hype team throughout this entire way. You know, Gladiators, they're a good team. They're supposed to be good. But this isn't the Gladiators part. This is a Roar video, and nothing really happens there. That's it. In the end, for his season total, he does finish top 10 in final blows per 10 for the entire league across all heroes, bottom 4 in deaths, and top 8 in his final blows per 10, right? He has some very good overall stats comparative to everybody. Then, he goes over to the Shanghai Dragons free agency for the 2020 season, and he has immediate impact. This is not the Shanghai of 2021, but it has the main components, right? It has Lip, it has Fleta, it has Li Gun, it has Izayaki, and it has Void. It's missing Fate, but they have a guy named Fearless, who, last time I checked, is the current Grand Final MVP of 2020. That guy was on this roster, right? It was a pretty good roster. It wasn't at the same level as 2021. I just don't think so, but the talent was very much there. So, what happens for him in 2020? He's a role star. He is a role star. I couldn't find the actual voting. I don't know how far up in the role stars he was, but he was a top 4 tank voted by, you know, the management, the media, whatever it is. All those guys. And for good reason. May Melee, they bring home the gold, right? And this is at the time where it was a mix of Fearless and Stand 1 playing, because Stand 1 was filling in on the Orisa for some double shield gameplay, and then whenever Fearless was in, they were playing the Winston Diva stuff, and he was very, very good on both of them, right? He can do Sigma, Diva are his 2 guys, right? The Zarya gameplay, it's good, but to me, Sigma and Diva are what he is about, right? It's what he's here for. And they come up big in the main melee. Then Summer Showdown comes around, right? They come silver medal, second. And this is because it's mostly Fearless and it's mostly double shield now. They've given up on stand 1 because Fearless is simply better, right? And they ended up losing to the Charge. That was the stage that the Charge won it, actually. But he was slowly pioneering how double shield would be played, right? Originally, double shield, you have your 2 tanks, they're standing together. When the Orisa shield goes down, you have the Sigma shield. You can't get through it, right? You can't get through it. They have shields on shields on shields. This guy, Void, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I personally credit him for how double shield evolved and how it would eventually turn into Ball Sigma as well, right? Because Void was the first player. Like, if anyone else can cite me on this, if anyone can, prove me wrong or prove me right, that would be fantastic. But he was the first player to really invent the Sigma off angle. It was him, right? Or at least he was the one. If he didn't invent it, right? I'm covering myself a little bit. If he didn't invent it, he was the one who really min-maxed it and pushed it over the top for a absolutely baller strategy, right? And he's here playing not with his Orisa, unheard of. And he is on the off angle applying so much pressure. You have to deal with him or he will ruin you. He will ruin you. It's not even close. So anyway, Countdown Cup. Now it's double shield stuff, also some double bubble stuff where he's sitting down on the Zarya. Also got some Diva. He can do whatever he wants. He's that guy. And he's going to town on him. He is simply going to town. This Shanghai Dragons roster wins the Countdown Cup, and they're going crazy. It looks like they're looking good. They are looking like they should be going deep to a lot of places, right? And playoff comes around, and we get the Hog guy. Hog becomes an unstoppable force. And so guess who's back? Stand 1 is back on the Roadhog. And Void's doing well in the Sigma, but you've got some guys, right? You've got Super on Shock. You've got Gesture sitting on the Soul Dynasty. And he has a mean Roadhog on him. And unfortunately, Shanghai, just as a team, not quite fit for the Roadhog meta. Did not treat them as well as a Soul Dynasty or a San Francisco Shock who would come first and second. But it was a pretty good season overall. And you can call it a Mickey Mouse, meta switch or whatever. It's just unfortunate, kind of. I don't know. I'm not going to call it a Mickey Mouse thing because it's like, if you're forced to play stand 1, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. And I feel like them having stand 1 come in here kind of is what brought them to ship out Fearless and bring in Fate. Because Fate, well-rounded, fully tanked. But this is the Shanghai video. Sorry. Anyway, back to Void. 2021. This is the peak Overwatch team. These are the best of the best, right? You cannot form a better team in Overwatch 1 than the 2021 Shanghai Dragons. They are peak, and Void is a big part of that on the Diva. He has great stats. He's not dying. He's not dying. Second lowest stats per 10, 3.5. On the Sigma, also very low, 4.3. Number 1 in final blows per 10 on the Sigma. Number 2 in final blows per 10 on the Diva. This guy is a statistical masterpiece for playing good, solid Diva, Sigma, off-tank gameplay. He's not going all-in aggressive, but he's still getting some big-ass damage, some big-ass elims. And the synergy he has with the backline, peeling for Izayaki, peeling for Fate, going in with the boys, Fleta and Lip, on the Echo stuff. It's great. Anyway, he gets 3rd World Star in 2021. Because he's that guy. Back-to-back World Stars. That's how it is for him. He's doing it, right? Main Melee, Silver. They're playing a lot of Diva Ball. They're playing a lot of Diva Winston. Whatever it is, he's on Diva, right? Sigma, not as strong at this point. He's on the Diva. Dune Joust, Gold. Summer Showdown, Gold. Playoffs, boom, all win. Mostly playing the Diva Ball stuff. Some Orisa Diva, all that thing. The Sigma takes a backseat, but he doesn't care. His Diva's that good. His Sigma is what makes him that guy to me. But his Diva, also immaculate. Just as good, right? Just as good. And he shows it. It's this is peak. I don't know. There's no other way. Like watching 2021 Shanghai, they're mechanical. They are mechanical with how precise they are. Everything. It's perfect. And Void is the big glue to me. You know, he is the glue of that team. He's there for everybody. He's doing everything. He's Void. He's that guy. And that's that. I don't know. He's that guy. He is that guy. That's all I have to say. Then 2022, his last season, the most recent season, the first season of Overwatch 2, he takes a lot of a back seat. He still gets 8th in Roll Star voting, which isn't a Roll Star, but it's 8th. It's a bit out there, but it is still acknowledgement by some people. And they come 3rd in the kickoff clash. That's mostly when he's on the Zarya comp. I believe Fate would be playing more at that point. He played probably only a quarter of the time Void did on the Zarya comp. But it was a part of their journey. Not being said, there's only 4 teams in the kickoff clash for APAC at this point, so how impressive that is. But it was a very close series between them and Seoul for that bronze medal game, for that 3rd place game or whatever. And if they do beat Seoul, if they manage in that map 5, they find a way, they easily could have beaten Philly. That Philly team was not very good. So it's like you either come 3rd or you come 1st. I feel so pretty good. And then in the Summer Showdown, of course, they would win it because this is where Void got his Roll Star votes. His Junker Queen was the best in APAC. It's not really a debate. APAC's Junker Queens were not quite up to par, but Void definitely was. Bringing out that trademark 0 death policy where bro just does not die, had the lowest deaths per 10 on Junker Queen in the league, where in a season where every single team had a Junker Queen player and they were playing it a lot, bro died the least. He had the 2nd best final blows per 10 at 1.3. He had top 2 elims per 10. He's not dying. He's getting the elims. He's doing it. He's doing it. Okay? He's doing it. Now, on the back half of this 2022, not the back half, but looking at the other characters, not great. Right? The Zarya, not great damage per 10, which is kind of a big part of Zarya. Low final blows overall, but he didn't play it as much as some other people, so that makes sense. And the Sigma, even though he only brought it out on like Circuit Royale, pretty much, it's the only time he'd bring it out. It was not the Sigma that we once knew. It's not the play style of how he likes to play it, you know, with the off-angle stuff, as I touched on. It's not possible in Overwatch 2. And so he kind of suffers a little bit as a result, I won't lie. Bottom 3 elims per 10, bottom 4 final blows per 10, bottom 4 final blow to death ratio, and every single team is playing Sigma. Right? So it's just tough. It's just tough. But overall, all time, Void was a absolute masterclass off-tank, right? Looking at his Diva all time, 2 days played total on the Diva, top 5 elims of all time with over 6,000, over 6,500, top 3 elims per 10 with like people who have actually played it, not the people that pop in for a map and then leave. Top 5 final blows of all time, bottom 3 deaths per 10 of all time on Diva, like, and top 3 final blow to death ratio. This guy is a masterpiece. The Sigma, very similar stats, very good all around. Top 5 final blow per death. The Zarya, nothing that really stands out all time statistically, but he had his place on the Zarya. You know what? They were playing the double bubble exceptionally well. They won on the double bubble stuff, right? It's not like his Zarya was bad, but it definitely wasn't as good as his Diva or his Sigma. So anyway, in total, compared to everyone, not just on tanks, he ends up top 10 in elims with everybody, including the damage guys, including Prophet, Carpe, all those guys. He's top 10 there. He's top 10 elims per 10, top 10 damage total, 4 million damage from this guy. This guy played. This guy knows ball. Well, he knows Diva. He knows Diva. And his deaths per 10 are still, he still has a very good deaths per 10, 8th lowest all time at 3.8. And this guy has played every single season of Overwatch League, and he's putting up numbers like this. He's the GOAT, okay? Void's big. Anyway, of course, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. As always, like this video if you like it, subscribe for more Overwatch League content, and get hyped for free agency tomorrow. Deuces.